And once the absentee ballots are counted, that culminates the 2021 election here in Onondaga County. Commissioner Zarni and his staff can finally kick their feet up for all of a month. And then it's time to get ready to do it all over again in 2022. Some restrictions still do remain. You'll no longer have to worry about COVID squashing all the fun this season. We've had Democracy in Action reporters at nearly 50 polling sites today, where Central New York residents have been casting their ballots throughout the day. Now, unfortunately, don't get too excited. I'm no Steve Kornacki. Says you see here, not really much has been reported thus far in the Central New York area. However, if you do want to go find those results coming in, you can go right here to ongov.resultscaster.com. You can start to see how those results are coming in from various towns and across Onondaga County. What you can also do is go to the board election as you want continuous updates to come in. You can also find that at ongov.net.com. And if you want to see more work that we've done, you can also go to dny-cny.syr.edu. On that site, that is our Newhouse Democracy in Action site. You can use that to find stories that we have around Onondaga County, whether that be Liverpool, North Syracuse, down on Janesville Road, whatever floats your boat, those kind of stories will be up on the DIA site. Here is where you can find the election results as they start to come in. Today, the Court of Appeals began hearing the dispute that could determine if former President Donald Trump had involvement in the planning of the January 6th insurrection. Trump is seeking to assert executive privilege over 750 private documents of his, drawn from former aides such as his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, advisor Stephen Miller, former Deputy White House counsel Patrick Philbin, and press secretary Kayleigh McEnany. The House committee argues another threat on American democracy could occur, and release of these documents could show such events were planned well ahead of time. The results from Canada's snap election are 95% in, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will stay in power a third time. Trudeau called a snap election back in August, 2 years before the next scheduled vote. The intent was for Trudeau's Liberal Party to gain a majority in Parliament as well. However, the Liberals fell 12 seats short. This means Trudeau's party will continue to be a minority in the House of Commons, along with the Conservative Party, as well as the New Democrats and the Bloc Québécois. The Liberals actually lost a seat from last election in 2019, leading some to call this gamble a colossal failure. But Trudeau simply is not fazed.
There are still votes to be counted, but what we've seen tonight is that millions of Canadians have chosen a progressive plan. Some have talked about division, but that's not what I see.
Trudeau has been the Prime Minister of Canada since 2015. The next scheduled election in Canada is now October of 2025. Down at the U.S.-Mexico border, another migrant crisis is mounting. Over 6,000 Haitians have been removed from a Texas border camp and face expulsion back to Haiti. Nearly 19,000 refugees have already requested asylum in Mexico. The mass exodus from Haiti comes on the heels of a 7.2 magnitude earthquake last Monday that claimed the lives of 2,200 people, as well as the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Both events have further upended an impoverished nation. This footage shows some 360 Haitians arriving back in the nation's capital. 6 more flights are set to leave for Haiti today. Some immigrants informed the Associated Press they intend to go right back to America upon arrival home. Best-selling author Alice Sebold apologized Tuesday to the man she mistakenly accused of rape as a Syracuse University student. Anthony Broadwater spent 16 years in prison and the past 40 as a registered sex offender. Sebold has since sold millions of copies of her memoir, Lucky, which details the event. A Syracuse judge overturned the conviction and cleared his name last week. Former attorneys in Arkansas and Illinois are filing lawsuits against Dr. Alan Braid. The goal? Testifying the legality of Texas's near total ban on abortions. In Texas, abortions are prohibited once medical professionals can detect cardiac activity. For reference, this is usually 6 weeks into pregnancy. Despite the law in place, prosecutors cannot take criminal action against Dr. Braid because the ban is only enforceable through lawsuits by private citizens. If successful, private citizens are entitled to a minimum of $10,000 in damages. The Dome is seemingly back to normal for football season, almost too normal. Over 31,000 fans packed into the Dome on Saturday, and many disregarded SU's masking policy. Earlier today, SU announced more signage and ushers urging fans to mask up going forward. The university currently requires all individuals to wear a mask indoors while cases continue to rise nationwide. In other COVID news, a local school has now moved to online learning. Dryden Central School District in Tompkins County is going virtual due to a total of 8 students testing positive. These positive cases lead to over 200 students and bus drivers who are now in quarantine. The superintendent of Dryden Central School District has decided students will learn remotely until at least Friday. Welcome back to NCC News at 4:30. The University of Massachusetts Amherst is anticipating more protests in the coming days following rape allegations against one of their fraternities. NCC News' Liam Crowley spoke with a UMass student who described the current campus climate. Thanks so much, Kritzia. Compared to the 2020 election, some polling locations in Onondaga County are seeing a lower turnout in voters. Democracy in Action's Johnny Gadamowicz spoke to people at one polling site to see why they still come out for a non-presidential election. Coming up after this break, Liam Crowley returns with your local forecast. Stay with us right here on NCC News. Recapping today's top stories, the California governor's recall election has drawn major attention from the White House. President Biden spoke to Californians in Long Beach Monday, detailing his concerns over leading Republican candidate Larry Elder. That is all the time we have today on NCC News at 4:30. For today's top stories and more, visit our website at nccnewsonline.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NCC News Online. I'm Tim Nolan.